One of the crazy things about South Carolina is that it has an entire system of what I'm going to call trails, which exist solely for the benefit of the utility companies, basically. So right here, we got a natural gas pipeline, and because we have a natural gas pipeline, we have a trail going over there, connecting somewhere. And down here, you see the big old cap thing, and it goes off that way, and it goes off that way. And I've stumbled across these in my walking around Greenville and Spartanburg County many times. And sometimes you're actually, until you see the obvious utility stuff, like the random little sign or the little cap thing, you think it's a trail because it looks exactly like a trail. And because the utility companies don't want roots destroying their gas pipelines and their sewer mains and their water mains, they maintain it at a nice walkable level of vegetation. Now, the sad thing is I actually had an email back and forth between me and the big boss, Billy Bob, of the Spartanburg water system. I said, hey, I found a trail over here. Am I allowed to walk on that? He said, actually, no, because we only have an easement from the landowners for utility purposes. We didn't get, obviously, the utility company obviously didn't pay them extra for an easement for people to just recreationally use this. But, I mean, I feel like that's like a huge shame because it's literally ready to go. I have... let's say, I know that people do walk on these, right? There's a kind of a combination of these near USC Upstate over in Spartanburg County. And it's just close enough to the college that people just totally use them as trails. If you look at the Strava heat map of people who have walked there before, there's a lot, okay? But of course, a lot of them are just in kind of out of the way places where no one notices them, and of course they don't get any use. But I feel like this is such a lost opportunity. It's such a wasted resource because if the state, at the state level, they were able to pass some kind of a bill, at least incentivizing, this kind of easement to also cover recreational access. I mean, you would unlock, it must be multiple times the current level of trails in South Carolina, right? I think Spartanburg County has like 20 miles of trails, working on 50. And Greenville, I don't know, probably something similar, maybe a little more because they have the Swamp River Trail. But there are so many utility easements which are maintained in what look like trails. It's got to be multiple times that, right? But they're off limits. So obviously you wouldn't want to just, heavy-handed say, okay, now people can walk on the property here. Although that would kind of align with the kind of British style of concept of the right to roam, right? You're not doing anything with the property, just kind of walking across it. So there could be an argument maybe for that in another country. But we live in America, so you could at least incentivize, right? You say, hey, if a utility is getting an easement for utility purposes, let's just put like an extra tax credit in there for the landowners if they're willing to also let it be part of the trail system, right? That way, no one's being forced, and it's just a tax credit. I think we already have something like that somebody pushed through to help out the Daniel Morgan trail system here in Spartanburg County. I think one of our local legislators in Columbia did do that already, but he wasn't really focusing on utility type trails, what I call sewer trails, because it just sounds so great. I think it was more like just the ones along the rivers that we're planning here. But yeah, I mean, we've got to figure out a way. I feel like a good government would figure out a way to bring online this massive and totally unutilized resource, right? And I've never seen anybody else talking about this. So, sadly, I think, if people don't walk around, they don't notice them, They're just little blorps in the woods as you walk by. But yeah, so if anyone else has noticed that, has seen any legislators talking about that, that'd be great. Let me know. That would be very encouraging because, again, like I said, huge resource. At this point, the only people who get to walk along it and enjoy it are, utility workers, which I'm sure they have a good time back there. But I want to have a good time back there too, It's just really great. Could be really great.